Let's talk about money laundering, the great American laundry. Massive, unbelievable amounts of reserve notes vanish into thin air. The Senate and Congress of the United States, with several White Houses, have to bail it all out for gargantuan amounts of printed out of the thin air, hocus pocus fiat script, also known as shin plaster. Now, the purpose of this particular video is to get to the bottom of the dozens, let me repeat that, dozens of politically exposed individuals that Tammy McFadden and as many as six other internal suspicious activity agents for Deutsche Bank have been reporting to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the House Financial Services Committee, the FBI, the Department of Justice, and every news media outlet in the world, including legacy trust media. Now, if you notice, this is my Jimmy McDougal, Susan McDougal's husband hat here, old Jim McDougal from Madison SNL. And the Clinton dirt-dealing daisy chains and flipping of the Arkansas Industrial Development Bank and all those rather interesting real estate transactions, if you will, of the Clinton Mafia in Arkansas and down there at the 26th floor of the Houstonian Estates when they were wheeling and dealing weapons with Manuel Noriega, the Marcoses of the Philippines, and of course the Triad Mafia of Lamar Terrace, the Bin Ladens, the Khashoggis, and the Gabanafars with John C. McCone of the Western Banks, and that whole little savings and loans scheming and scamming of the 1960s, the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s, and all the way up through the popping of the bubbles in 2006, 7, and 8, and that which is going on right this second, according to huge numbers of law enforcement with the police in Frankfurt, Germany. 500 cops raid the headquarters of Deutsche Bank. Can you imagine 500 cops showing up at your office to search for incriminating evidence of massive money laundering in the Russian laundromat over to the great American laundromat? Donald J. Trump, Christopher Wray, Maxine Waters, Patrick McHenry, Adam Schiff, and everybody associated with, drumroll, Trey Gowdy. Now pay attention, Trey Gowdy. I know you're working with Nelson and Mullins, and Nelson and Mullins is, well, you're representing Deutsche Bank, Trey Gowdy. Boy, that's an interesting employment maneuver there, career move as they call it. He goes from the Congress of the United States whining and bitching about Hillary Clinton, and he goes to work for the lawyers that are protecting Deutsche Bank from a full investigation and a complete probe of their money laundering through U.S. real estate mortgages and foreclosures. See, ladies and gentlemen, the best way to launder money is to take a whole bunch of dirty money and mix it in with a bunch of clean money and then, make it available for subprime predatory mortgages in Europe and in the United States. People don't repay their mortgage, man. You just get the collateral back, right? And presto, changeo, hocus pocus. Your dirty money is magically clean in that real estate foreclosure transaction, in that subprime predatory lending racketeering scheme that you've devised to launder money in the great American laundromat. Now, Jim McDougal and Susan McDougal and the Clintons and the Bushes and a whole lot of their friends there from Lamar Terrace and the Uptown Houston gang of the Triad Mafia. They've been running these dirt dealing, dirt flipping, daisy chaining, hocus pocus, presto changeo money laundering for decades. These laundromats. This is how you clean up the dirty money. Well, at least that's how they did it in New York. When I was a kid, Donald Trump, I taught all the mafia how to snorkel and go water skiing and to, use their boats on Lake George up in the Adirondacks. That's where the very successful mafia families spend their summers, is up at Lake George. Ask, ask Ivanka Trump there, and ask Don Trump Jr. and all the other Kushners, and ask them where the hell is it that the rich mafia families keep their boats in the Adirondacks. With the Rockefellers and Adam Hawkschild and the Rockefellers up there at the Adirondack Park. Now, folks, let's get back to the purpose of this particular video. Dozens of politically exposed individuals, dozens, according to 6 internal investigators for Deutsche Bank in Jacksonville, Florida, were hocus and money. They were doing the old presto changeo with lots of money there in Deutsche Bank in Jacksonville, Florida. Tammy McFadden, what is her telephone number? What is her contact information? The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, of the U.S. Treasury, Department of Justice, FBI, and the House Financial Services Committee. How is it precisely that Tammy McFadden is contacted? Please write in and give us the information. You can add it as a link to this video. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right down to the brass tacks here. Everybody knows who I am, even though I'm wearing my Jimmy McDougal costume. How is it precisely that you use real estate racketeering and subprime predatory mortgages and real estate-backed mortgage securities and the old dirt dealing and the flipping and the daisy chains? Let's not forget the daisy chains of John C. McCone and the Western banks. Everybody knows who John C. McCone and the Western banks were, are, probably still will be. Western banks. And if anybody has a problem, get a hold of Nelda Radabow. Nelda Luce Radabow Blair, and you can get a hold of Mark Thurnbull, the clerk from Montgomery County, Texas. Get a hold of United States District Judge Lynn Hughes in Houston, Texas, and ask him who Western Banks and John C. McCone were. And I don't know, you can get a hold of Christopher Wray and William Barr. William Barr damn sure knows the answers to these questions, along with Billy Bob Blowjob Clinton, George and Laura Bush, and Barack Obama, and Donald J. Trump. He could tell you who John C. McCone and the Western banks were. Judson Witham versus Western Banks, 1986-17-930, Harris County, Texas, in the 334th State District Court of Judge Russell T. Lloyd. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm that professor. I am the doctor, and we've got to get to the bottom of who all these witnesses are and who all these dozens, she said dozens, the New York Times said dozens of politically connected witnesses are at Deutsche Bank in Jacksonville, Florida, that are laundered money. Folks, trillions, poof, vanished in the most recent popping of the bubbles. And we've got to get to the bottom of it, ladies and gentlemen. Your answers and comments, send them in below. Look for all the links and the information provided in this video. And remember always that the son of the swamp fox, he's humping to please. Ladies and gentlemen, leaving it right there. As always, hasta la vista, God bless, and you betcha, we will be back.